It's so wonderful to see so many familiar faces in the room, but for those of you who don't know me, my name is Rita Sola Cook, and while I've held a variety of positions over the last 26 years with Bank of America, as a native of Chicago, I'm honored and humbled to be the Bank of America Chicago president. On behalf of our 5,300 teammates here in Chicago, we welcome you to 110 North Wacker, also known as Bank of America Tower. We've got tremendous pride here in our 160 years located in Chicago and in our beautiful new building. Just a fun fact, when this building was started construction in 2018, and when it was opened in 2020, it was the largest commercial use building in this loop in the last 30 years. But I'm really bullish about Chicago, so I'm proud to say we no longer hold that title. Chicago, just in case you did not know, is one of 97 cities Bank of America is in. We're in 38 countries, but a fun fact about Chicago, it is one of 5 markets globally where we've got all 8 lines of business. So we can help consumers in our 130 financial centers to small business and entrepreneurs that are tech startups, all the way through our Fortune 100 companies. So we're very excited to come together today with P33 for this opening reception. Now, Bank of America is bullish on Chicago for a variety of reasons. Amongst them, the diversity of our economy, our central location here in the United States. Yes, I've been asked to move, and I always say why Chicago is the place to be. We also talk about being a transportation hub, world-class education and hospital care, fresh water, as we can see out the window here, but of course why we're here: innovation, talent, and our inclusive and growing technology ecosystem. So I was asked to come up here today to tell you a little bit about what you're going to expect in our agenda. First, we're going to hear from Governor J.B. Pritzker. He's going to be providing our opening remarks. You'll then hear from Brad Henderson, CEO at P33. We're going to have a rapid fireside talk on AI with Rafael Uzman, who I met in cocktails. And then finally, I'm not going to call it a fireside chat since we were by the river. I'm going to call it a riverside chat with somebody that I admire, as both a businesswoman and civic leader, and Penny Pritzker, and our United States Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg. Now, a fun fact. My husband spent 20 years in Navy Special Warfare, and while I was born and raised in Southeast Chicago and got to live on both coasts, when he retired in 2015, we could have moved anywhere. 38 countries, 97 cities. So I'm pretty bullish. I got my farm boy from Nebraska to move to Illinois, right? I love Illinois. But unfortunately, I think I've got somebody in the room that's a little bit even more bullish on Illinois than I am. So I got the honor today of introducing our 43rd governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker. Now, I'm sure most of you in the room are very familiar with his expansive and impressive bio, but a few fun facts I thought I would share to highlight how he has championed entrepreneurism, technology, and small business. Before becoming governor, Governor Pritzker founded 1871, the nonprofit small business incubator in Chicago. Since then, Chicago has been named one of the top 10 technology startup hubs. In 1871 was named the best incubator in the world. Stop and think about that. Now, I'm competitive, but during his tenure as governor, annual new business startups in Illinois have grown 70%. And this is my favorite fun fact of the night. Illinois now has the largest growth in small business creation amongst the largest states in the nation. Let me say that again. Illinois has the largest growth in small business creation amongst the largest states in the nation. Beating out states like California, Texas, Florida, and New York. So with that, without further ado, I would like to thank Governor Pritzker for driving the great state forward and invite him on stage to make opening comments.
Very kind. Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you so much to Rita for that kind introduction. It really is my pleasure to welcome everybody to TechChicago, to join you this evening. It's the worst kept secret in the industry that Chicago is home to some of the best tech companies with the highest return on investment. not just in the Midwest, but also across the United States and really across the globe. We have some of the best research universities in the world. We're producing the third largest number of computer science graduates, the fourth largest number of MBAs in the nation, and the fifth highest number of data scientists. This is a great state to do business in if you're in the tech industry. Our startup hubs, 1871, Matter, M-Hub, The Garage, Enterprise Works down in Champaign, Duality, and many more, have cemented the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois as global players in new business creation, in innovation, and technology. And governments around the globe send delegations to 1871 and to Duality and so many of our other hubs to learn how innovation happens at the best incubators in the world. All of this is possible in no small part because of the community that is in this room tonight. So I want to thank each and every one of you for the role that you've played in the movement that has been created in our city and our state. That includes the incredible vision of the leaders at World Business Chicago and P33 for bringing us together this week. I'm so grateful. In that, I want to be clear to all of you, there's no bias in what I'm about to say. I want to recognize P33's chair. Our former U.S. Commerce Secretary, I have to give her all the titles before we get to the most important one. She also happens to be my sister, Penny Pritzker. I also want to thank Google for their support of Tech Chicago Week and more broadly for being a great partner in the state of Illinois. I consider Google a homegrown company. They may not consider themselves homegrown in Chicago, but we do because their very first major expansion was to Chicago back in 2002. And they've been fully engaged since that time in supporting the growth of this community, this tech ecosystem. And of course, we're all very excited about them building out new offices at the historic James R. Thompson Center in the Loop. I must say, my job as governor when I won election was to try to save taxpayers money, to make sure we were balancing our budgets. And for 20 years, people have looked at selling the James R. Thompson Center because the state, frankly, just couldn't figure out how to run it as well as it ought to be run. And so we, after 20 years, we were able to actually find a developer who was willing to come in. We didn't know when we were selling it that it would ultimately end up in the hands of Google. And so what a great thing it is for the city of Chicago that Google is going to be right there in the center of the loop. So I want to thank Google for becoming, well, even more prominent than it already is. In fact, the week Google is announcing, this week, Google is announcing the next cohort of Founders Fund recipients, each of whom gets $150,000 cash award to boost their growth. And we're proud to have 5 winners here in Illinois, some of whom are here with us tonight. And I want to ask, if you're here tonight, if you'll stand when I read your name. Ruben Garcia of Certiverse. His certification platform is making education more accessible. Thank you for being here tonight. Nico Aguilar of Spico. And he's helping people improve public speaking. John Dillon of Guardian Vets. I must say this is something I need too. He's helping pet owners get quality virtual veterinary care. Alejandro Muller from Savvy AI. And they're helping small businesses use technology to grow to scale. And Nick Freeman from Innovare, who's helping educators make data-informed decisions. Thank you all for being here. Let's give them all a big round of applause. let me be clear, Illinois state government is not only deeply invested in our tech industry's success, we're also deeply investing in it. Before I became governor, as you heard, I founded 1871 in part with a grant from the state of Illinois. As governor, I prioritized innovation by dedicating $200 million in my first year in office in state support to the groundbreaking work in quantum at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign and the University of Chicago. It helped to catalyze the major investments that came on the heels of that from the federal government and the Department of Energy in both quantum and AI, which are hugely important for Illinois and Chicago becoming the leader in the development of quantum. And with the creation of Innovate Illinois, a partnership with P33, with the Civic Committee and our research universities and our national laboratories, we're focusing on maximizing investment from the federal bipartisan infrastructure bill, the CHIPS Act, and the Inflation Reduction Act to catalyze economic development in critical areas of technology, advanced manufacturing, infrastructure, quantum, and advanced biology, all areas where Illinois is building a lead. It is hugely important that we get our fair share from the federal government, and we're working very hard to get that done. And once again, I want to thank P33 and all of the others who've been engaged in helping to make us a success. We magnify positive economic results when government and business work together. And I'm very proud to partner with tech leaders inside and outside this room to build Illinois into a state that people view as having a very, very positive future. The best is yet to come, in my view, and we're making the investments now to make sure that that happens. I want to thank all of you for making that happen and working with us. So with that, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, who I must say is somebody who I didn't know just a couple of years ago, but now has become an integral part of what we do at the state and in the city to attract technology companies and to attract the best innovators in the world to Chicago and to make sure that all of you are succeeding in this room. And so, ladies and gentlemen, P33's CEO, Brad Henderson.